Hello, this is Adam Henderson. Today I'll be analyzing a game from Stan Miranda. Now, Stan does this thing where he brings his partner, who is another male, and at first I didn't like it because I thought it would be too distracting. On our first matchup, which was at a WordCup 2 years prior, I told him I didn't want to have him there because I was worried he might be too distracting. Uh, and So I have this thing where I sometimes have to blow my nose during the game, or I have issues with mucus. So that came up during our first matchup together, and he asked me to go wash my hands, and it just it felt a little bit more contentious than it should have been. I obliged and came back, but it's just something that I guess it makes sense if you're a germaphobe, which some people are, and it's fine. It makes sense. Anyway. But the point I wanted to make, I'm getting off track here. The point I wanted to make about Stan was I didn't know that he was his partner, so I asked him after the game because I did allow it for this game, and the reason I allowed it was I could see that other people were allowing it. Pretty much everyone was allowing it, at least that whenever I glanced over at him. And I knew I was probably going to be playing him in this tournament, so I thought ahead of a time. I was like, do I want to allow it? I said, I thought to myself, especially by the time uh, this was pretty late in the tournament. I don't know what game it was, but it was. It, I was already having like not a great tournament by the time I was playing him. So maybe if things were different and I was having a better tournament, I would have asked him. But it didn't really matter. The outcome of this game is kind of how I thought about it, and also where was I thinking? Also, I just wanted to try it out and see if it distracted me or not having him there. And as it turned out, I think in this game, obviously he doesn't say anything while he's watching. Um, so I think in this game I was able to not let it distract me. So um, I don't know if I have a lot else to say, but I will say that I was wearing my "We Are All Human LGBT" shirt. So then I did ask him after the game, I asked him like who he was, and he said, when he said he was his partner, I was like, oh, okay. And then I think the conversation got a little bit more friendlier because we kind of were could relate to each other because we're both obviously gay. I don't know how to say that in a non-blunt way. Uh, so yeah, I felt like we could both relate, and we had some conversation after that. But I felt like I could relate to him a little bit better after that. So I think he's a good guy, and I think that's all I want to say. Let's dive into how this game went. One thing about us gay guys is that it seems like there's a lot fewer of us out there than there maybe should be. So when we do find each other, it's like, oh hey, and it's not like a sexual thing. It's just like, oh hey, we have something in common. Um, I don't know. Other gay guys, if you're gay and watching, you can comment on that last thing I said, if that was accurate or not. Uh, I don't always say things that are accurate. Anyway, one thing that I think is common between gay men is we don't support Republicans. I think for obvious reasons. uh, Even if there's like another issue we agree with Republicans on, usually we're not voting Republican. Anyway, I don't want to talk about politics. Turn off my Republican voters from watching the channel. But anyway, try to stay away from talking about politics. Screwed up this time. Anyway, he had 10 like and he had Finn like. He went with Finn like, which I held. And the thing is, like, I was pretty sure it was good, but this one was like, I wasn't really sure. I had to think back to the days where I used to play my like game. I don't play it so much anymore. Eventually I did accept it, but it was a big blow to have him bingo immediately, especially when I had kind of a crappy rack. And I played U for 19. Okay, I didn't see this word of Corony. Yeah, that's better than U. U, of course, opens the triple lane, which isn't ideal. And the thing that sucks is that he had the word of revisal. So if I would have played Corony, if I would have found my best play of Corony here, he wouldn't have had a bingo, probably. Maybe he would have. These are pretty good letters. Maybe he would have. Okay, he did have fire. Actually, he did mention. So I do remember him. I remember hating that he had bingo twice in the first few turns because it pretty much shuts down the game in his favor. But yeah, it looks like he had all these plays if I had played Corny. And I think that came up after the game when we did a post-mortem. Yeah, this game was a complete disaster. Yeah, he had bingos all over the place. And of course, I draw the Q. So I'm not going to analyze this whole game. But he does play the word of fear here, which I challenge. And the game's over after that. So I didn't know whether fear was good or not. It looked phony to me. On my first thought was that it was phony. I held it for a while, and I think I realized that it kind of had to come off for me to. Okay, I actually didn't. I didn't know this word, so I'll write this down. It looked like the type of play that, because those ER endings, that's a very common type of phony, is a word ending in ER. But yeah, this one was good. It looks terrible. And the game's pretty much over. Looks like we're at 9 minutes, so I don't want to start a new game. So this will just be a short video. And there's no need to... There's no need to go over the rest of this game, to be honest. All right. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.